Dear Victor, in this section of the Eating Habits chapter, I want to talk about a very specific part of our diet choices, the ethical one. So, welcome to the section 2.3. What kind of an animal lover are you? Which happens to be winter holiday themed. I'm separating this section from the other videos to make it easier to share with my friends who may be interested in this topic. For those who don't know, it's part of a self-help book and a video series I'm making for my 6-year-old son, Victor, for when he grows up, with a working title, Easier Done Than Said, Self-Hypnosis for Better Habits and Beyond. Other parts of this video series may be shared later. Okay, back to the topic. Dear Victor, I know that you are a very kind 6-year-old and you care a lot about animals. I also know that your cognition is developing at a scary rate, which means that when you watch this, probably as a teenager, you will highly likely want to be consistent in your choices and avoid resolving cognitive dissonance in weird ways as some people do. So I feel like I have some thoughts that may help you with your decisions in the future. Before I continue, I would like to invite you to take a 5-minute quiz called What Kind of an Animal Lover Are You? Please see the link below. You basically go through a list of animals and decide to love or kill in such a brutal binary way. You can pause the video. So maybe you've already taken the test, the quiz, and maybe you have even obtained 2 scores, a benevolence score and a consistency score. The approach I've taken to calculate these 2 scores is based on my past history of scientifically studying connectomes, the networks of connections in the nervous system of living beings. Specifically, I chose the number of neurons estimated to be in the sensory-associative structure of the animal as a proxy for its capacity for suffering versus thriving, as this number is likely to be reflective of the level of consciousness, intelligence, complexity of social behavior, etc. As an example, I depicted the scores and plotted the graph of one hypothetical omnivore person's love-kill behavior versus animals' number of sensory-associative neurons. So the x-axis shows love versus kill, the y-axis shows love versus kill, with love being in the positive range. The x-axis reflects the animal's number of neurons in the sensory-associative structure. And please note that we have a logarithmic scale here. And I'll tell you a secret, in that quiz you took, the animals were ordered according to their number of sensory-associative neurons. From the smallest number to the biggest number, just like in the graph. The benevolence score, basically how often they chose love for this hypothetical omnivore person, was 70%, and the consistency score, reflecting how rarely the person switches between love and kill for adjacent animals, was 67%. Interestingly, this omnivore person could increase their benevolence score to 73% and their consistency score also to 73% by dropping cow and horse from their diet. In another example, someone who identifies as a pescatarian could increase their benevolence score from 84% to 86, and their consistency score from 86% to 89% by dropping only one animal from their diet, octopus. Of course, I didn't include all animals, and the calculations are just simple proxies. Finally, if you're going for perfect scores, please never step on ants and find a humane way to deal with moth and cockroach infestations at home. In case you're interested in a deeper dive into this topic, I recommend looking into sentientism. Sentientism is an ethical philosophy that extends moral consideration to all sentient beings, defined as those capable of experiencing suffering and flourishing. It is a naturalistic worldview that uses evidence and reason to consider suffering and flourishing of living beings and proposes that moral concern should be based on a being's capacity to have subjective experiences, not on their species. This position is often contrasted with humanism, as it grants moral considerations to non-human animals and is a more inclusive worldview than those that focus solely on human interests. So that's it for this section. I'll see you in the next one.